but I'm going to let everybody go. And I'm just waiting for people to kind of come on. I'll wait to see if people are popping on before I actually say, hey, everybody. So this is fun. Is everybody excited? You're nervous.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's just Leslie. So I wait to see. Is everybody excited? You're nervous. Yeah, somebody has an echo. It's okay. Okay. Yeah, somebody has an echo. So we don't have any people who have joined us yet, but we're going to go through. Everybody's going to introduce themselves, and what's going to happen is we're just going to have fun. I'm going to ask everybody maybe a little bit about reselling and how you got started or whatever.
Okay.
So we go around. I'm going to just go around as I see you, right? And you're going to just introduce yourself and a little bit about who you are, and then I'll work my way around. And I won't go in the same order every time. I'll just be, mixing it up so that everyone can get a chance to talk. And this will give us a chance. See, people are coming on. There's Tasha, Mariana. Hello, ladies. It's 6 people in the chat. As you come on, don't be shy. Just wave a hand or something like that. You can leave your closet. You can leave your Instagram. This is all about promoting yourself. I believe in everyone should have a chance to promote who they are. It's enough for everyone. Do not be shy. If you see someone on the panel that just say hello, ask questions. We'll highlight your questions, and we're going to have fun tonight. So Mia, tell everybody a little bit about who you are, where you're located, and just maybe the name of your Poshmark closet, and then we'll come back and talk more about.
Hey everybody, my name is Mia. I'm from California. I started reselling about 2.5 years ago now. Originally how I got started was basically word of mouth. One of my friends, I was trying to make some extra money, and one of my friends recommended that I start selling, and then I quickly discovered the Instagram community and all the love there, and just fell in love with it. And my business, has been growing surely but surely.
Nice. Chris.
Hello, I'm Chris. It's Krishanda, but Chris for short. I'm in San Antonio, Texas, originally from Louisiana. Poshmark Closet is Nevaeh's closet, and I've been reselling since 2006.
Nice. That's good stuff. We'll come back to that. I like to take notes and come back to things. Stephanie.
Hi, my name is Stephanie. I am originally from New York City. I live in Los Angeles, but actually right now I'm on the East Coast in Virginia for a short period of time. I have always kind of resold stuff and never took it seriously. I took it seriously starting this year because I have a 2-year-old daughter, and it is my most important passion to be a stay-at-home mom with her. It is important for her as a brown child to have her mother at home.
Yes.
So I am desperately always searching for ways to provide an income so I can be with her.
Yes, Addie.
Yeah, hi, I'm Addie, and born in Cameroon. Went to school part of my adulthood in Cameroon, Ghana. Then I migrated to the US. I'm based in Texas. My family is in England and in Cameroon, so I'm a little bit back and forth there. I did start reselling. I took it more seriously, I would say, last 2 years, maybe 2 years or so, 2018 midway. And I learned from my sister. She had a very successful eBay business in London, so she's been a very inspirational driving force for me getting into this. So I look forward to getting to know everyone, and I enjoy the Instagram community very well. And it's the journey. So
good stuff. Yeah, we'll talk more about the Instagram community because I love the Instagram community. Brittany.
Hi, Brittany, aka Discount Deals for You. I started my journey about 3 years ago. I had unfortunately lost my job, and it was determined that I was eligible for unemployment, but I couldn't get that right away. There's some kind of window that, anyways. So I was just trying to figure out some other kind of way to make some money. I was like, no, there's got to be another way. So that's how I kind of got into reselling. I started with eBay, and then I went from there. But it started back in 2016. I'm located here in Texas, North Texas. Basically, I don't know if they know where Little Elm is. It's such, it's an upcoming town, but it's not yet developed, but it's basically north of Dallas. And that's pretty much where I'm at. I mean, I started, like, I've been doing it since about 2016, but it hasn't been really serious or full time, like consistently until this year.
Yes.
So I'm pretty excited about it.
That's good stuff. Well, you know, I try to introduce myself a little bit. My name is Leslie and Resellers Passion. I started reselling in 2016 in April. I started on Poshmark when there were only 4 pictures and no men's or children's or anything. And so the journey has been really interesting. I literally, for those, I try to tell people I learned from the ground up. Okay. See me now is nothing. And I haven't even been talking about Poshmark that much. Where you see now, my first sale was a 1-star. And I come to you as real as I can about that. I threw some shoes in a box, shipped them off, and that person was like, shipping was horrible. And I received that because I'm a handmade seller. I sold on Etsy. I've been crocheting since I was 14 years old. I made it a business years ago, and then Etsy came along and I started selling on Etsy. You take a little hat and you put it in a 6x9 poly mailer and put it in the mail. Shoes I knew nothing about, right? And I could have learned because my husband had been reselling on eBay and Amazon at the time, but it was the pride thing, you know. So, but I've learned every step of the way, and everything that you see is from that learning process, you know, from there to here, and learning every day. Like from this beautiful panel here, I learned something from everyone. And speaking of Instagram, that is such a great tool, not only as a community, right, but as a place to meet great people and also to learn. My thing, if you're not learning 1 or 2 things at least a week, then you need to reevaluate how you're using Instagram. Everything that I learned, that's my education. I don't have a college degree. And so thankfully I'm served safe. I worked in food service and I've really made good money. I didn't even have to go to school to be a chef. I just had some beautiful opportunities come my way. And so I've been baking and doing some good stuff, but so I'm not sad that I don't have a degree, but this is my education, Instagram, to meet people, to go into like Addie's closet. You know, she'll say, okay, this is what I sold. I want to know how sis sold, what she sell, you know, how she do it. Check it out, Stephanie. We're both bleaching, but she's doing something, you know, that's got me every day like, wow, you know, but also just seeing people lift each other up. So that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. Not for me, but for the community, so that people can see there are people of color. Next week, I'm going to have the Spanish ladies on there. I have the ladies who are over 50. My husband and I have Tucker Talks, you know, just different things so that the community can see that we're all the same in a way. If nothing else, we resell. Okay. And so don't be afraid to reach out to people. And if you reach out to someone and they don't get back to you, keep going. You can always contact me. I answer every single DM. And I will try to put you in the direction of somebody. When you got 3 people saying, I'm from Texas, they may not be like, I know. I'm a Philly girl who in this small little Delaware. I'm from Philly, about to move to North Carolina, you know. And so when people were like, I can tell you anybody in Philly, but like different places, I can say, oh, I heard Chris say she's in Texas. It may not be close to you, but she may know a couple other resellers. So I'm always about making connections. I'm going to get back to everybody, but I want to acknowledge the people who are here. So we have Mariana, Tasha, Glow Girl Glow, who is Nikki, Wendy Span, New England Betty Boop, who is Lizette, Monique C, and I saw Dirty Denim Shop. Everybody in the comments, if you have questions for any of these ladies, if these are ladies that you've been following and you've been wanting to ask them questions, now is your time. If you're not following them, follow everyone. Everyone, after this comes out tomorrow, it takes an overnight to buffer. Come back and put all your information in the comments so people can find out where you are. Okay, I'm going to go to Stephanie because her shirt is just like shouting out at me, first of all. But what I want to say for Stephanie is, sis, let me tell you, I totally agree with you. I stayed at home for 8 years with my children and I homeschooled. And when I say we homeschooled, we didn't have this digital stuff, but we homeschooled where I taught them how to cook. They learned laundry. It was interactive. I had a chalkboard. I had the whole thing and I was there. And even when I wasn't home with them, I went to every class trip. I was class mom. People ask me, how do I do? I did stuff then. Our children need to see the same things they see on television. So I want to say that I applaud you. And, you know, for yourself, you're probably like, that's what I'm supposed to be doing. But sometimes people on the outside need to see what we're doing because our children need this. I raised 5 incredible humans. And then I married a man with 5 incredible humans, you know, seriously. But we have to acknowledge that about our children. You know what I'm saying? We have to speak that life into them. We need to tell them who they are. Like I was just telling my daughter, she's 17 years old. She survived a whole lot, you know, and I talk to her all the time to let her know who she is. So when she leaves, we were talking about money and stuff. When she leaves here, she can't say that my mother never said that. Everything that she needs to hear out in the world, I instill in her, and I teach all my girls that. Before he tells you that, when he starts telling you that, tell him, I already know that. All my girls, you know, you beautiful. I already knew that. I already know that. You know, so that's the thing. If you prepare them, they won't fall for anything. You see, it'll be a mutual thing. So I love the fact that because we do need to make a way. We can do it. We can make a way to be home. There's money to be made online. Don't let anybody tell you if you're selling on Poshmark, you're there. You're quarter of the way there, because you know how many people who can't make any money or who think that they can't make money, who's been tricked into thinking they can't make money, right? So you're already there. So I appreciate that about you right there. See, I love this because I'm learning more. So tell everybody about that shirt you have on and why you started that and what is your whole purpose for the Black Lives Matter shirt.
So I've been bleaching stuff the whole COVID. I reached out to people. I said, I don't feel comfortable being out in the world thrifting. If you want to empty your closet out on me, do so. And people answered the call, and I had a reseller hand me all her leftover things. And you would think like, oh, it's pick through.
Right.
But there was a higher voice telling me, go through that stuff anyway. And I just started bleaching it. I put it on my Instagram. Most of the stuff that I was bleaching, I couldn't even get to Poshmark because I only have 800 followers. You need this is something people need to know. You do not need to have a huge following to make money or be successful. I have a small community. I'm happy that way for it to grow, but I'm happy for it to stay small because I want to be responsible to my community. And they started buying stuff. So we have all this stuff going on. I live in LA. I live under the most murderous police department in the nation. So this is on the top of my mind. Yes. The reselling has come after right now. And so I said, I still have to make money. How can I put my people first, get my message out, and move on? And so I literally I had stencils. The funny thing is I had an art room before my daughter was born. I got rid of all of it and condensed it into one bag. I found one set of stencils. This is it.
Hey.
I took a paintbrush that I had for my nails to clean up my nails, and I bought a bleach pen.
Nice.
And this is it. And I just went from here, and I was like, this is it. And the first shirt I put up sold within 4 minutes.
Nice.
The rest of the shirts, they've not been able to last for 20 minutes. So now I have a whole list of people that just hit me up privately. And right now I'm just cranking out custom made. It was not my way to do it. My way would be to make a bunch of shirts and just sell them.
Right.
But it didn't happen that way. Right. So you have to go where you go.
Exactly.
And I have, for some reason, there's a community of mostly white women that are down to support, that want to start figuring out a way to make their voices heard, take away the guilt and provide action. And so this is providing a way to start community. And for them, this is bravery. Yeah. And I've had to learn that because I can be impatient with them. And so this is their form of bravery. This is the way that they speak out. And so I'm just embracing it. I'm going with the flow. I'm being in the moment and just listening to something higher. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's definitely important, regardless of whatever your belief is, you whether you believe in God, the universe, when something speaks to you and it keeps coming back to you, you have to respond to that. People ask me like, why am I so busy or whatever? Because for me, it's daily. Because I can say, I don't want to do something or whatever, but it's a continual thing. And actually, one of the voices came through my husband because I'd started this community. And again, I was just like, I need some friends. And then people started sending me messages like crazy. And it was just because, you know, I'm just who I am. I'm Black. Was at the time 49. I'm bald. You know, and those things resonated. I've raised 5 children. I've been divorced. And so that message was already there. And I was just like telling my husband, like, oh my God, I'm getting like all these messages. And he was like, well, just answer. And then we went to our first Posh Party live and people knew me. And he was like, he leaned over and he said, you can't stop what you're doing now. You can't stop what you're doing. And so I just try to make a message just clear every day. And the other thing I want to say for you, Stephanie, is that I think it's really important for people to hear what you're saying, because so often, even though it's separate from like your reselling business, so often there's a stigma within the reselling community that you can't do anything else outside of reselling. So when you start selling or when you start having a craft or doing something, then it's like, wow, like I wrote an ebook and I have some other stuff coming up. It's like, wow. But my thing is, you can stay stuck in that bubble if you want. But I was ready for this pandemic. You know, all the stuff that you hear on my podcast and all, save money, you know, diversify your income, whether it be another platform or something like that. It can be within the reselling community, but if you have a gift or a talent that you've been blessed with, use that. I was a handmade designer and I said, okay, well, let me go on Pinterest and see how I can tie up some stuff and throw some color on it, you know. And I'm like Stephanie, I have the pen, I use paint brushes, I do the whole thing. And the thing is, it's enough for everyone.
That's right.
You know, like in the reselling community, it seems like a fad. And my girl Lizette is here and she was like, oh, ride the wave. I'm like, Lizette, I'm 51. Tie-dye was around way before I was even. It's just now that everybody's been home during the pandemic that it seems like it's a trend, but it's not. It's been, tie-dye is here to stay. You'll see some, you know, older guys who, because my mother's like a Black hippie, you know, shoot, we was gypsies. Every time I turn around, we move in and she just laid back. She vegan, all her, you know, natural. And that's, so everything tie-dye, bleach, cut, that's how I grew up. So it's like, it's here to stay. It just seems like in our little community that it's new. It's not new. So, but I also say, like, what I like what you're doing is like, you're selling the stuff before it hits a platform, because I don't sell my handmade stuff on Poshmark because they take too much money. I do Etsy. I just started a website and I'll do Cash App. Look, whatever you got for me, bring it. You know, Facebook shop, because you're putting your time into this. Poshmark want 20%. Poshmark not getting my 20%. So that's why I don't. People ask me all the time. So Brittany, what's going on with you? Wait a minute. Before you answer, somebody has a question for Stephanie. And I don't want it, I'd rather just address it now before. And everybody follow Stephanie, get some of those shirts. That's for you on the screen. How do you balance your work and family while working from home? That's my girl, Nikki. If you're not following Glow Girl Glow, follow her.
The truth is, it's day by day. And sometimes I don't. And we need to be honest about that. I have a 2-year-old. And for me right now, there's a pandemic. There's no real schedule for a 2-year-old. She doesn't have anywhere to go. She doesn't have any art classes to go to. We don't have anything to do. It's day by day. Right now, I'm actually caretaking because my father was in an accident. And so, right now, the balance is really hard. It's taking care of my dad, making sure my mom is okay because caretaking is hard, and taking care of my daughter and my brother is here. And it's literally hour by hour, minute by minute. And when I feel overwhelmed, I walk away. Be it from social media, be it from my phone, be it a minute outside from my family. And I think that the rest, our relaxation, our mental health, being able to walk away from things, it's okay. Being able to fail at things, it's okay. And when we realize that, we won't have this big juggle of work-life balance. And also, nobody ever asks men about their work-life balance. So we really have to be honest about work-life balance. I get that it's important. It can be overwhelming, but it's everybody's. I hesitate on giving people a plan because no life is the same. I just say walk away when you need to, take care of what you need to, and write stuff down and just go like that. Sometimes I just have to write it down, even if it's as simple as wipe down the toilet, you know, check it off, and you feel accomplished that way. And so that's all I got. I'm only 2 years in motherhood, so
Yeah.
you know.
But you would think Stephanie and I just had to sit down and had a conversation before we came on here, because she's literally talking about all the things that I talk about. Like, I carry a clipboard everywhere I go, Stephanie. If I don't, I would not survive. I carry this, it sits on my lap in my space, and I write down like literally everything, because I wake up in the morning and it's like, my room is a mess, and all I really care about is having clean underwear, clean socks, clean bra. My toilet is clean. Seriously, I don't, because people ask me like, how do you get stuff done? I don't clean. When my children were young, I was on everything, and then when they were home, everybody had a list that they had to do. I haven't washed anybody's clothes since each child was 8 years old. Everybody in my house knows how to cook. So now if I choose whatever I want, like Stephanie's just starting me, I do whatever I want to do. And I used to be on a schedule. So I'm like, I used to be on a schedule. I advise people to be on a schedule, but me now, I'm at the place that I just do whatever I want to do. I make sure I get the important things done, but I do exactly what Leslie wants to do, because for 29 years, I've been somebody's mother. And so now I want to make decisions that I want to make. My husband doesn't bother me. I can do whatever I want. He doesn't care. He's been cooking for 60. He's 62 years old. If he can't take care of himself, then hey, I don't know what to tell you, boo. You know, it's the truth. It's the truth. He'll joke like, you didn't cook today, but we have that relationship that because you can't. So that's the cool thing about like now being in the second act, I guess it is, and I just do whatever I want. And when I get the calling, I do it. You know. So Brittany, what's going on with you? You've been working on, especially since the last time we talked, we were on Posh and Coffee, and Brittany came in, and that was beautiful. And what have you been working on in your business, and what are some of the things that you're doing differently due to the pandemic?
Due to the pandemic, I don't think I'm doing a whole lot differently in that sense, just because I guess I don't know if it's fortunate that I had a life pal or what, but I call it a life pal because I had plenty already, you know, like I didn't have to go shopping during the pandemic at all. So I haven't had a problem with that. What I'm actually trying to do is get rid of that. I'm trying to get everything listed, and then a multitude of things. I started really getting serious about tracking everything because, like I said, I just started back and I didn't have my accounting system completely in place. And so now I have that, but there's still things even within that I still need to grow and learn. So that's like an ongoing process. Then I started the Instagram about 3 months ago. Did that, just did a whole challenge on there and had to do all these posts and everything. I'm getting to know quite a bit. I'm just doing so much at one time. Then I'm juggling the health because, like she said, Stephanie said, the mental health is so important. So you have to do what you have to do to, you know, get that right too. So I'm trying to balance that. So I work out quite a bit, morning, sometimes and night. I take walks. You don't have to do a whole bunch to get there. You just have to be active.
Yeah.
And then as far as your health is concerned with your eating, that's like 80% of the, you know, so just, you know, make better decisions in that department and you're going to feel better automatically. So, but what she was saying about the, you know, like how do you get everything done? For me, I have a 12-year-old. So it's kind of like what you were saying. Look, she know how to cook. She can make her own stuff. Like, I don't really have to, you know, I don't have to. It's not the same as when you have a young child.
Yeah.
So the summer is good, but whenever the pandemic hit, what I can say is I definitely felt like a teacher. Because I mean, she would not get stuff done, and then it would mess me up because I had already had my day schedule set how it was, and then when they got out, you know, when all this stuff happened, she started falling behind on some assignments and stuff. So I had to make that also a part of what I would write down and be like, okay, let me fill out her board. Let me double check on this. Let me do this. And so I just had to basically add it in. And there's days when you get a whole bunch accomplished, and then there's days when you don't. Yeah. And so you're not going to get everything done all the time. But you do have to, one thing I had to learn was to take time for myself, because I'll run until midnight. You know, some nights I'll be like late trying to get stuff done because that's just who I am. I've always been a workaholic by nature. I mean, after I got out of college, I went into retail, and I was in retail management for a long time. So that's just, you know, I'm just used to, you know, a lot of work and just, you know, working all kinds of hours and all that kind of stuff. So that's just how it is. But Yeah, I'm just doing a lot of stuff. So you guys might notice too, I might as well, while I have few people listening in, let you know that I will be changing my name. So it'll go from Discount Deals for You to something else. But I'll make a video and all of that kind of stuff. Like
Love it.
right now,
Love
just
it.
coming up. I have a new logo. I'm doing all kinds of stuff. I just hired a VA. I mean,
Nice.
I'm in the process of scaling.
Yeah.
So, so that I can have more time, because I don't know about y'all, but I don't want to work 10, 12 hours a day. I don't.
Yeah.
You know, I really don't want to work that much.
Yeah.
It's not on just the reselling side. I want to build streams of income and then, you know, work each stream and give time to each stream.
Exactly.
Reselling. You know what I mean? Like, there's so much more to it. Like stuff like this. I want to be able to give, you know, more to the community than anything.
Right.
It's about what I'm giving back, not just about me getting in here and grinding and that's it. You know, I want to be able to give back and be a part of the community as well. So everything I'm doing right now is setting the foundation for that. I have so far 4 streams of income, and I'm working on getting 7, obviously. You know, like, I don't know, I said at least 7.
I know about that. I think that's beautiful. I totally think that's beautiful. I'm totally into rebranding. Like my group last year, that was a big thing I talked about, and almost everybody in the group rebranded, right, Chris? Like I just all of a sudden it threw me off, because all of a sudden within a week everybody had a new name, new logo, new name. I'm going to look for people like, wait a minute now, you want from a picture to a logo? So I'm totally all about that. I think it's beautiful, and I agree with you. In terms of working on one thing at a time. So like right now, my focus is working on both my Etsy stores. Like, thank goodness for the copy listing feature on Poshmark, because I haven't listed anything probably in like a month, and I've made sales. I'm still making sales, but I've always been a relister. That's been 65% of my sourcing anyway. Like when I was sitting on 1,200 items, why am I sourcing when I still have these items that are sitting here? The goal is to sell. Some people source. And I'm like, nope, I'm going to sit and relist 10 items a day. You know, that's the way I did my Poshmark business. And now my business is scaled down from 1,200. I'm at 300 items in my Poshmark closet. I have 2 Etsy stores, a Mercari store, and a Depop store, a Facebook store, 2 websites. I have all kinds of different things going on, but it's like focusing on one thing at a time. And I was in a writing stage. So I wrote an ebook. After Friday, next week, after my birthday, I'm going to be writing out my courses and my workshops that people have been asking me for. I was invited to speak at different panels this year, but all of those got canceled. And I really don't want to do the virtual because they were paid gigs. And when it's virtual, they try to, things change. So I'm like, yeah, that's good. I already have my own platform where I'm not getting paid for that, or, so. But I love what everyone's doing. So I'm gonna go to Mia. So Mia, do you work? Are you a full-time reseller, or are you working outside of the home?
No, I work. I'm a part-time reseller. So during the day, or my other part-time job, I work in the community with like people with disabilities and stuff like that. So reselling, although like we can call ourselves part-time, at the end of the day, we're all full-time.
Yes.
So much work that you have to put into your business. So, I mean, answering questions to if you're managing a social media, and like the list goes on and on and on and on. So, but I classify myself as part-time.
So how has your business changed since we've been in the pandemic? What is like do you have a new sourcing strategy? Were you already sitting on some items and you didn't have to go out? What's been working for you?
Honestly, when we first went into the pandemic, I didn't have anything really, because I had sent so much stuff to ThredUp and it was selling on there, and I was like excited for that. So I was just like keeping those like high ticket items that I knew would sell on Poshmark or Mercari or eBay and stuff like that for my own personal pile. But I didn't have anything, so I had to learn how to source online and through different websites like Nordstrom's Rack and Anthropology and all the people that were looking for anyway. So I just started directly sourcing from them, and they had like really good deals going. Like I found some really good stuff for like $20, and that's not like stuff that you could find regularly. Like even in the thrift stores, like say if you find Tory Burch, the thrift is going to try to charge you $75, but like on the actual like Nordstrom's rack site and some other sites that I was looking on, they were charging like 20, 25. So I was coming up on some really awesome deals and then just flipping it on Poshmark. So that was really exciting. It showed me like a different level of reselling, that there are definitely other sourcing opportunities available. But the thing that I kind of disliked about online sourcing is just it takes so much time. Like you have to kind of stay online like for 6 hours to find what you need for that day. Versus like if you go to the thrift store, you can be there for 3 hours or 2 hours and get a whole cart full and be done.
Yeah.
But it was a learning curve, and I enjoyed the learning curve, and it was stressful a little bit at the beginning, but towards the middle of it, I kind of got the hang of myself, and orders started coming in, so I was able to start listing again and keep going. So it's been pretty consistent for the last 2 months or so.
That's good. I'm glad that you said that you really, that it was kind of like challenging, because I am the same way. I've never really sourced a lot anyway, but the word that I hear a lot that I've been using a lot is pivot, right? We've been pivoting and like really shifting. And the one thing I will say about like this pandemic, I don't know about anybody else, but life has changed for everyone, but life has changed. It has changed. And if you have not taken advantage of the life change, I say jump on it. Like this is the time to change your mind, your body, your business, your love life, your parenting. This is the perfect time to do it. We have time that we didn't have before. And some people are affected financially, but I can tell you how to make some money. You know, don't come telling me you don't have any money. Like my family, I don't even want to hear it. You can make some money.
Right.
Like you can do it. You just have to work hard. That's what it really is. It's not a 9 to 5. You don't have a coming in and going, okay, this is what I'm supposed to do here. Now you got to figure it out yourself. So now you have to go online and source and things like Mia. That's the same thing I did. I did a total shift, right? So now I'm bleaching and tie dyeing. Hey, I'm getting me some thread up DIY boxes. I'm shopping Joe Mara. I'm doing some different things that I didn't do. You know, my numbers are growing. So then people reach out to you. Do you want to be affiliate or whatever the situation? So that changes the little shift in things. So you take advantages of much things you can. And I love the fact that Mia said that. I have not been in the thrift store. Our thrift store is open June 1st, and I'm see you from over there. I'm good right here. Everybody has a different perspective. No, I'm really serious about this thing. You know what I'm saying? I'm serious. I'm like, look, I was good at home anyway. That was the cool thing. Like literally nothing changed about my business at home. But like now you're saying, okay, the thrift stores are open. And I'm like, yeah, I'm good. You know, I'll make it work. I'll figure it out. I can order, like now I'm getting some wholesale stuff. You get some shirts, you do whatever. You know, I'm ordering my dye online. Look, go to dollar store for some bleach, Amazon for bleach pens. Look, I don't have to leave my house, you know? So I just, whatever's necessary, I go out for. Like I take my daughter to work. She's an essential worker. And, but other than that, you know, I go to, you know, maybe some feminine products or something. I'm really good. You know what I'm saying? Like, because they haven't been out, and it still just concerns me. Like, I don't want to go to the beach. I don't want to, because my thing is places that I want to go and I want to have fun. I don't want to be masked up to have fun. That's how I look at it. So when people say to me, well, you know, I want to have fun though. I don't want to have to go to the beach and then I'm way over here and I got a mask on sitting on the beach. You know, I want to travel. My daughter and my future son-in-law, they're going to Puerto Rico next week. God bless you. You know, you're on the plane with your mask. You got to do, you know, he wants to see his abuela before, you know, I think she might be sick or something. So I totally get that. But like, you know, I'm just like, I don't. So yeah. So Chris, I have missed Chris, and I love seeing her pop in and things like that. She's like so chill. I don't know how she is at home, but she's like, she come in, she's like chill. So Chris, how are you? Tell everybody what you do full time, and how are you balancing your full time with your reselling?
Well, full time, I work at the VA hospital. I'm a medical technician there. I work in the GI department. So that's Monday through Friday. And honestly, since the pandemic, when I come home, I'm tired. I'm hot. I'm tired. It's hot in Texas. We have to wear all that stuff, and it's getting worse. So every day I go in is you got to wear more stuff, which I gladly do wear it. You don't get me wrong. But what I've done is I used to go to the thrift probably about like 3 or 4 times a week. I don't do that anymore. I haven't been at the thrift store in I don't know how long. If I do source, I do it offline. I've sourced my closet. I have two girls. I source their closets, when they're throwing stuff away because they're at home, so they don't have nothing else to do but clean out stuff. And I used to, I had certain days set up, and I kind of learned this from you, actually, Leslie, with the whole schedule thing and the batch work and all that. I used to have days during the week where I would come home and say, well, this day I'm going to take pictures. This day I'm going to list. I don't do that no more because I'm like, I have to maintain some peace for myself and I have to keep it together here. So because I do work full time during the week, I really honestly don't do anything towards reselling. I have a VA that shares my Poshmark closet for me. So that's really, really helped. So I don't have to constantly be, sharing and sharing. And if I get sales, that's great. She's helped me out quite a bit on the weekends. And those that I've kind of set that time aside, like Saturday, I'll take pictures of things. And then Sunday, when we're just kind of relaxing, I'll go through and list here and there, here and there, here and there. Because, we're not going anywhere. So, I'm at home. But I did make the decision of during the week, I wasn't doing, anything but just going to work and then, coming home. And I miss it. But at the same time, just right now, for me, dealing with having to go out to work every day and it's something different and things are changing and stuff like that. For my mental health, I was like, I'm just coming home after work, I'm relaxing and I'm taking it easy. So I've just set the weekends, aside for that. And my sourcing all has come down to honestly online. Facebook Marketplace. We have like a neighborhood page where a lot of people were they were cleaning out their closets and stuff because of COVID, and so a lot of people were just giving stuff away, and a lot of the Facebook groups. I don't know if some of you guys have seen those that have started like little thrifting groups on Facebook, and they kind of sell the things at thrift store prices. I've purchased a few times from there, but I'm kind of like you. I'm not ready to go back into the thrift store. I'm just not, So, but yeah, that's pretty much just trying to maintain and get through this and, just keep my mental health together. So,
Yeah, and I think that's the most important, that you've made a decision to just focus on work during the work week and then coming home and relaxing. Because self-care is healthcare, and so many people forget that it is really important. And self-care is not doing your nails, getting a facial, having a massage. That's part of it, but you have to take care of what Brittany was saying, working out and eating right and those things. And sometimes we forget that. Like me, when I became a full-time seller, I literally sat in my chair and came home and worked. Like I would go, before I became a full-time seller, I would come home and sit in my chair from 3 p.m. to 1 a.m. I was a lunch lady, supervising lunch lady. So I'd open up my kitchen at 6 a.m. to have serve breakfast. So I would get 5 hours of sleep. Thankfully, my job was only 10 minutes away. Then I come home and repeat. And then when I decided to come home for 2 years, I worked straight and I gained like 40 pounds, So now I'm getting, because I just lost 25 pounds on Weight Watchers when I was working. I was, I would get that was then. Now I'm starting again. That was like when I worked in a cafeteria. My goal was 10,000 steps a day. Before I left the cafeteria and even came home, I had that in. So anything extra, it was days that I was doing 20, 30,000 steps. Now I have it set at 8 because I'm just kind of getting back there again. And I just added the Weight Watchers app to my phone. This is the perfect time to grab that stuff, y'all, because it's like digital now and it's like $4 a month or a week or whatever, that kind of thing. So before you don't have to go into the place. They're opening up, but they have a special digital where you don't even have to join the big membership. So and you get everything right on your app, because that's what I did before anyway. I would just weigh in and do everything else on my phone. So that's going to be perfect for me. I'm going to enjoy my birthday and eat all. Because for people who don't know, I've been a baker for 15 years. That's what I did professionally. So I can bake anything that I want. So I don't know, maybe red velvet or cabbage for my birthday. But after Monday, I'm going to start doing that. So we really have to take care of ourselves. You get older, you get these aches and stuff like that. So I'm going to Addie next, but someone commented, so I want to bring it up on the screen. Shout out to Addie's Boutique, who has been my mentor and friend. It was hard to juggle time and reselling, but she always makes sure to message me and ask me what I did for me. Oh my gosh. That's what I'm talking about. Before she even starts talking, like, this is why I want to do, this is why I like to do this, because many of you probably were like, wait a minute, why is she reaching out to me? Why does she want me? What's she going to talk about?
Well, you told me.
Why me? Because Annie was like, I was like, go to the YouTube channel and see, like, come on, no. But that's the thing, like, why me? Because I'm going every day, because I see you, sis. I see your hustle. That's why. You know what I'm saying? For real, what I want is share you and your hustle with everyone else. So that people can see, but this is everybody though. And that's what I was saying. Like, more specifically, if you're wondering, why did she contact me? Because I'm going through every day. I was like, who do I know? Oh yeah. That's what I'm doing, because this community doesn't know you. Now they do. So it may be 19 people on the chat. Where y'all at? Say hello or something. But when I wake up and this goes live, it's going to be like 200 views. That people who missed it, they're going to come back and watch the playback. See, I want people to know who you are. I want people to know in this community that are brown people. There are people from all over the world, that we have different stories, but we all come together with one common thing. And for me, it's community. It's not even reselling. It's all about community. So Addie, tell everybody a little bit about yourself. Do you work full time? I already know your story because I went through your Instagram page. I went through everybody's Instagram page.
Yeah,
I know what y'all doing because I love to see what everybody's doing. But tell everybody like a little bit about what you're doing. Are you working? If not, are you reselling? And what has changed with the pandemic?
All right. So for me, I do work full time. My job allows me to work remotely for a long time. So that gives me the life balance I need, given that my family is overseas, right? So I travel quite a bit for that already. So reselling for me has been part-time. And I think I took it more seriously once I picked up my first mortgage. So this is my first house. And I was like, thank you.
Yes.
So I was like, I'm going into a mortgage by myself. So I need to make sure I can still visit my family and I can meet up with my bills and responsibilities. Right? So it's just a way to supplement that income and be able to, travel. I love traveling. So the first time in a long time I've been in one place for 7 months now. So I feel miserable sometimes, like I want to hop on the plane and go somewhere. But so far, I've kind of made it work. Talking about the whole, quarantine period, I haven't really had a drastic change in my schedule, especially given that I've been doing this part-time, right? So I used to do retail arbitrage a lot a couple years ago, but I didn't take reselling seriously. Okay, so I would just passively listen things on eBay. I didn't understand eBay very well because my sister was selling eBay,
right?
And I kind of stepped it up a notch when she came down for the summer holidays with her kids back in 2018. So she was like, "How do you have all these things? Are you putting them online?" I was like, "You know what, sis? I get so busy," and she's like, "Just do it." So when they left, I took it serious. I was like, okay, no, I can do this. So every evening after work, I'll push myself, do 2 listings, 3 listings, 4 listings. Sometimes I'll stay up late into the night after dinner, just list, take pictures. And I just kept up with the pace. And for me, what I encourage other, resellers that do this part-time with a full-time job, I would say it's not a competition, okay? I always tell myself I am my own competition.
That's right.
So I stay in my lane and I do what works for me.
Yes.
So some days that's so hard and I'm like, okay, I feel bum tired. Thank God for the relisting feature. I just go to relist, look for the old ones and just relist and I'm like, I'm done. But I do have a lot of items I sourced a while back, like February, March. So I'm working on that slowly. Since things have reopened in Texas. By the way, I'm very close to you, Brittany. I know Little I drive by there.
Nice.
So we need to hang out. Yep. So where was I? Oh, yeah. So I do make it a duty to slowly list what I already have at home and before going out. So, but I get tempted to go shopping because I love shopping. I love finding the deals. So, recently I do go out, do some arbitrage at TJ Maxx, Watermax, and they have like, they're very strict with that. Like, you must have a mask on, and they're cleaning all the cars with wipes. And there's a lady walking around with wipes and, like cleaning up the hangers where clothes are, because it feels like people are touching the hangers.
Right.
So I kind of feel comfortable doing that. I think that's a little bit of what I do, and I do resell on multiple platforms. I do not cost list as much as I'd love to, but I think I have to hire a V as well to help me with my closet share. So that took off, some burden off my shoulders. So I'm just like focusing on, on my closet. And one thing I decided to try out that is kind of working out for me was making my closet diverse. So I do carry different sizes, and I ventured into the home section as well. I do have things my friends, guests brought for me for my housewarming party, which I know I'm not going to use. So I've been listing them away slowly, and they're all going online, and I've told them I'm going to carry. So I'm like, I hope a friend doesn't like watch this.
Tell them you made the money. You got the money. That's it. You got the money for it.
Yeah. So it works out. I'll say venture out, check out the different categories, list something there. Like I love shopping, so I do have a lot of clothes for myself. And shoes.
You're not alone. There are so many people saying that in the
to make myself feel a little bit better. I have this little sign in my closet, right, where I have my shoes. Like, life is hard. Where are the shoes? Yeah. So that, I'm like, what? I'm troubled. That's okay. I can do this. So I've been sourcing from my wardrobe. As I'm putting away winter clothes, I'm putting out, sweaters and dresses I know I'm not going to use anymore. So I have a whole lot from my wardrobe that I'm going to list, right? So that's like free inventory, and I don't have to go pay for it or go to the thrift store. So that's something as well one can do at this time. So.
Yeah, that's what people don't think about that. They don't think about sourcing from their home. Like my good friend here, Glow Girl Glow Nikki, she just went through all her son's stuff. She wasn't selling children's clothes, but she realized, because she's probably a shopaholic too. Yes, Nikki. And if you go to her page, she had stuff like piled up of her son's stuff, and she started lotting it together and was like, wow, I can really make some money like this. And yeah, my girl Christy Blocker, who I know, she's from Philly, she's like, she's a shopaholic. Yes, I've been telling her about herself. But everyone who's here, thank you for joining us. New England Betty Boop, who was Lizette, she's Posh is My Purpose on Instagram, and she's telling everyone thumbs up, not thumbs up in your comment, but hit a thumbs up on the feed. Everyone, if anybody has any questions, throw them out there. Okay, so ladies, we're talking about like our reselling life during the pandemic. So I'm going to go around. I want everybody to tell me, like, during the pandemic, what have you learned probably about yourself and maybe your community? And your community could be like your family or whatever. But just talk about a little bit about, and we're going to, since we are people of color, I'm just going to put it out there, not even just the pandemic, but everything that's been going on in the last couple of months. Stephanie's shirt represents what's going on right now. All lives matter, but we do need to focus on our community as well. And I want to say, like, briefly, for me, I've always loved my children anyway, and they're all older. So that's the challenge, is if anybody has older children, like Chris probably can relate. You have older children, especially when they leave the home, that's when it's like kind of really hits you, because like 4th of July just passed. I wouldn't have minded having like my children. You used to have fireworks right across the street from my house. We didn't have to, because we live right across the street from the University of Delaware athletic field. And that's where the fireworks. So I miss my son. He's serving our country in Korea. Then my other girls, I have just 2 girls home. Out of all the children we have, it's just 2 people that I see every single day, and I might not hear from my son for like a month at a time. So just being appreciative of just life itself. And I I talk about everything. Like we did have a cultural conversation. We were talking about that. It is here recorded. Mia was on that. And we talked about culture. We talked about love, and we talked about race and racism. And it was people from every community. We had white people, we had Latinos, we had Black, right? It was beautiful, wasn't it? And my husband was on because he grew up in the civil rights movement. He's 62. So he talked about the raids and all that. So it was a beautiful conversation. And we're going to be talking about colorism on July 27th. If anybody wants to join that, it's invitation only. And I tell people I'm all about our community. I mean, I can't, this is my color. I'm Black, right? So it's not something, I'm not talking about it every day. For 29 years, I was on the battlefield. My ministry was my children. That was my ministry, about teaching my son how to be a Black man, about my girls how to be who they are, what's right and what's wrong, how to say yes, how to say no, how to speak up. That's been my platform. And so anything extra I want to do, I make a decision to do that. And I don't have to, be sorry for the way that I want to be Black. I grew up in a major city, Philly. I've seen life, death, friends of mine killed. I've seen it all. So, because the only reason I say it is people have contact, and you have a platform, whatever, stay over there. I have my story. I know what my story is, And so my son, we lived in a suburb. I had to tell him every day when he went to work how to be. He walked to work. Man, that hoodie. I've had this situation where my 4 Black children were in the store, in the dollar store, and I was across the aisle, and the lady was like, "Oh, a customer just told us you stole something. Where's your parents?" And I'm like, "Here I am right here." "Oh, never mind." "Oh, wait, now that the parents here, see those 5 white children that just walked by? Why are you talking to my kids?" So we've had that. It's a thing. And it's just a few years ago. It's right now. It's every day. And I know what's going on, So sometimes you can be on the front line, you can be on the back line. But like Stephanie said, she's teaching her brown child. It starts at home. It starts at home, because if it doesn't, it's, they're going to have a tough time. So wherever you put your energy is up to you. You can be proactive or not, every day. This is it. This is it for me. Can't hide behind it. Can't run away from it. And, 51 years of it. So, so I'm going to start with Stephanie. So how has the pandemic changed? You said now you've been going through some challenges. Hopefully your dad is getting better. And your shirt again says it all. It's power. It's power. It's power in that shirt right there. It's power. So tell us what you've been doing. What has changed in your life?
Well, I was in the shower about 4 weeks ago, and like you said, when you hear something higher, you have to move. And it said you have to do what's been in the back of your mind, which has always been activism. A quick backstory: I'm actually a dancer. This is my degree. This is my life work. It's been performing. And what I've realized is every single performance has prepared me for this moment.
Nice.
I was not planning to be an activist. My dad always called me Angela Davis. I didn't want it.
Because you look like her.
Because it comes with a heavy
heavy
responsibility that I wasn't sure I was ready for. And in that shower, I kept saying, I don't want it. I'm not ready. Please leave me. I'm seriously, I'm bartering. I'm like, leave me alone. It's a pandemic. I don't want to deal with this. And boom, here we are.
Yeah.
And I just said, I have to do it. So I took a pause. My personal Instagram, it's not branded to reselling because I am a performer. I'm also a fitness professional. I hold my life is really random. So my brand is actually me.
Yeah.
So I started just speaking out on the issues. I was like, I'm going to be candid. I'm going to be raw. I'm going to be truthful, and I'm not going to hold back. Yeah. And this is going to be uncomfortable. It's going to hurt a lot of people's feelings, including mine. It was uncomfortable.
It didn't hurt me. I love your videos.
Thank you.
I told you, I watch everybody's stuff.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I grew up in a lot of different places, but I grew up a lot as a token Black child. So I am light, and that has allowed me to slip in doors that other people that are darker than me don't get.
Oh, you should do our colorism talk, Stephanie.
I would be happy because I have a lot about what it's like to be token.
Yeah.
And what I had to learn, because in high school I ended up going to almost an all black school. I went from white to black. And even as a black person, I was in a culture shock. Okay. And that was a real reality check for me. So all of this has brought me to this moment. And I've learned that I started out 2020. I was one of those people that was like, it's going to be my year, but something told me to be quiet. Something said there's a lot of stuff that's going to happen. You need to be quiet this year. That's why I didn't want to speak out. But then when that voice rains down on you, you do what you have to do. So every day, you know, I'll put up stuff. This is my shirt I'm working on. Oh, you know, I have this great jacket. But my focus is on us as a people. And the reselling just kind of sits right here afterwards. Right. And I'm learning to empower myself that way and build this community that I don't know that I believe that I could do, but I realize now I can do it. So I'm thankful for this pandemic that I want to go away. But I've just learned a lot like that through it. So I'm thankful.
Yeah, it's amazing. Like when I was telling you that sometimes things happen and we do want to walk away from them, but it's more behind the purpose than we think. And sometimes we just have, but that's like any leader though, like any leader throughout history that has like stepped up and they've gotten there and they're like, whoa, because it is, you know, heavy is the head that wears the crown, man. It's like some serious stuff. And it may not seem like it. Like that's why to a lot of people, they think that I'm just talking like, well, this chat that we're having, we're not just talking about being resellers. And so this is what I decided I wanted to do, you know, to like expose the community to everything that is beautiful, everyone that's beautiful, and just like not in a natural way, not showing off and going, oh, I have these brown ladies coming on. I just want everyone to see the beauty in us all, and we all have a story that we can talk about. So that's why we're here. There's a couple questions up there, but I want to go to everyone and ask them. So I'm gonna go to Chris. So aside from like craziness at work, what have you learned about yourself maybe, or your community that you weren't taking time to pay attention to, Chris, before?
You know, honestly, I think for me, for one, I've learned that I can adapt to any type of situation. And so, but because I've had so much time, I think for me, I've actually learned to love myself again. Because, you know, kind of like you, my kids are older. My oldest child is 28. I have a 28-year. I have a granddaughter. I have a 2-year-old granddaughter. I have a 16-year-old and I have a 24-year-old. So all my life I've been a mom. I was a teenage mother. All my life I've been a mom. That's all I ever knew how to do was to be a mom, take care of people, cater to people. You know, and I've always put myself on the back burner. You know, so for me, it's made me appreciate my family, love them more, but also made me love myself a lot more. And it's allowed for me to, you know, kind of focus on some things that I would rather put on the back burner, do a few things for myself that I haven't been able to do. And I think just because we had to slow down, you know, that it's just given me that opportunity to, like I say, just really to fall in love with myself all over again.
You gave me a chill.
You know?
That chills, yeah.
I didn't mean to give you a chill, but you know,
that's real talk. I love your transparency. I thank you for that.
Yeah. So that I am thankful for that. You know, just kind of, it's like everything just kind of has stood still. You know what I mean? And let you just realize what you really have, and you know, just enjoy yourself.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Good stuff. So Addie, you were saying you have family all over. Like how challenging has this been for you not to be able to travel to see them during what's going on right now?
It's been very hard. Some days I actually cry before going to bed because I miss my family so much. So I have a sister, and she's in England. My dad is in Cameroon, and you find yourself just here. I have family, friends. My friends became my family, and you just kind of feel like you're far away. Especially with my nephews and my niece, they are so little, and I always make sure I saw them at least every 2 months. because I didn't want them growing older and not knowing who their auntie is. Right. Now I haven't seen them for a long time. And recently I was speaking with my niece, just as recent as this past, I think Monday or Sunday. And she didn't want to let me go.
No.
You know, we always have video calls. And she was like, I was like, I have to go now. She's like, no, auntie. So that I felt it. She just wanted to be there in the stillness. She wasn't talking. So I just stayed with her. So it's been a challenge. And I think it's kind of also, how do you want to put it? Like made it clear that we're all mortals, right? So it's like our life could just snap away from us at any time.
Right.
And you tend to appreciate more what you have. And I'm like, why was I always going like shopping that much? Like every time after work, I'm like, what's the deal? What's out there? You know, like I'll leave work and quickly go to get home so tired. And, you know, but now I'm like, okay, not doing that is giving me more time as well for me. So there's been a little bit of, you know, positives there, but definitely not being able to see my family face to face has been really hard. And it is still hard. I was hoping I'll be able to travel now, but Texas is now going.
Crazy. Yeah, I'm concerned. My son was due home in May, and so he's saying August, but like it changes depending on, you know, where they're going to fly in at, right? They come in on a military plane and then they drop them at whatever airport they've decided. So he's like Seattle. Originally it was New York because he's going to go to upstate New York. He can't even come see me. So I'm like, you know, so it's that's that challenge, but you know, you just take it as it comes. And hopefully everyone will be together again. But it does make it appreciative. You're here, though. You know, so many people are gone because of the pandemic. So I just appreciate everyone is here. I'm thankful I have both my parents. That's kind of like tough because I'm moving down to where my mother is, but I haven't been able to travel. And then my father is literally only 45 minutes away, but he and my stepmother are susceptible, you know. So I was like, you know, so we just gotta FaceTime. He so, you know, just sent me some coffee so that we can have coffee together. So I think that's nice. Yeah, that was really sweet of him to do that. So Mia, what have you been doing have you been doing anything different? Like life, have you changed anything about what you've been doing your day to day? Tell us a little bit about what you're doing.
I've just been educating myself on the issues that are going on that are so like important to our community, because like I would say personally, like a lot of this stuff that's coming out right now, like I just wasn't aware of. Like I really didn't know, like, you know, that people, like there was so much police brutality and violence towards Black people in that fashion. I guess like that's my own naiveness of just, you know, like when people see me personally, the first thing that they connect to is not necessarily Black. So, you know, like that may have been like a significant factor in that. So I've just been having conversations with different people, trying to connect to different community members and resellers and just show love and support and spread happiness, because I feel like, you know, equality is such a big thing. And like I was having a conversation with one of my friends before the George Floyd incident happened, and he asked me like, if you could play God for a day, what would you do? And I was like, you know, I know that it sounds really cliche and stuff, but I would spread world peace and equality. So although like I may have not like understood and identified and really got like how violent the world has been, specifically United States has been towards Black people, I still knew that we weren't equal, you know, like I still knew that people looked at us differently. So like I think that for me to know that, and then when George Floyd, like all the incidents started happening back to back to back, it just opened up the whole world's eyes. And I think that, you know, quarantine definitely helps, because I think that if George Floyd would have happened and we weren't in quarantine, like people wouldn't have reacted the way that they did. And so it really needed to happen in this time. And while it's scary, I think that it's a good door opener for all of us right now to just communicate with each other, show love to Black businesses, show love towards each other, and just really, you know, spread the word that equality is important.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you, Mia. one thing is I love the fact that we're talking, and I think conversation is really important for everyone. We don't want to force our friends who are another color or another race to have the conversation, but if they're opening the door for us to just create conversation. Because the funny thing about if you look at everything now, because like what Mia said, I agree with you 100%. If we weren't home, because this is something that's been happening for a long time.
Yeah.
This didn't just start, right? But there was more awareness because we're all on our sofas now. We're all on social media. And so this thing we took because it's all the names before, right? It's all the names that we can say. So this didn't just happen, but it happened. So in a sense, so everyone can start opening their eyes. And then it was such a effect. It trickled for a second, but then this thing was like a wave, man. They came, and friends, we have like such a diverse friendship, diverse community. And you don't think about it, especially when you have true friendships. You could have white friends, Latino friends, or whatever, and it's just every day to you. But then for our friends who are a different color, they finally go, wow, wait a minute, wow, and then they start having a conversation with you. And so I think it's great that they're willing to talk to you, because like I always talk about, like, I grew up in Philly. My whole life was diverse. My mother brought us up specifically, like on purpose. I talked about that on our culture chat, that everyone that I knew, it wasn't about race. We were around Chinese people, we were around Indian people. She made sure she did that. And I did the same thing to my children, where they went to monastery schools, where they were immersed so that they could come out. When people say they can't see color, that's not true. You can see color, but what you feel is love. That's really what it is. You feel friendships and love and a connection. So when people say that, I understand what they're saying. And that's what I say. Like, my children, it didn't matter if you had two mommies, two daddies. My daughter went to a STEM school where she was an A student. She came home with her group of friends, Chinese. So I don't care. As long as you're not hurting my kids or whatever, I don't care who you are. That's always been my bottom line. And so now we have friends, but then our friends start going, okay, now how do I approach this? How do I talk to them now? You talk to me the same way, but like, let's open up the door for the continual conversation, and that's what it is, because they've never treated you different, but when they leave you, it's a different thing that's going on for them than that's going on for you. So that's why I love the conversation. And I love that Mia was saying how she's like just kind of opening her eyes, because it has been there. And oftentimes people aren't aware of anything until it affects them, until it actually happens to them. But with George Floyd and all the Breonna Taylor and everyone, that happened to us all. And it's the stuff that's just been continuing to happen to us. So Brittany, aside from you changing your logo, adding your seventh, and homeschooling, God bless you. And I will say, I homeschooled 5 children on purpose, and I wish that I had some of the digital stuff that they have now. Like my daughter, she was a high school senior. I had to do nothing. So, most of the time with my kids, I didn't anyway, because I have 3 kids who excel mathematically. So I was not even trying to help them, especially with the new math, with the columns and all that stuff. So with your daughter, what have you been doing anything different? Because with the pandemic, have you changed things about the way you're living and, cooking and more time together? What's going on in your household?
Yes, I do honestly feel like our relationship is stronger because we're always with each other. She's like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just us. So, I mean, you know what I mean? And we're together all the time. So that builds our relationship. And so she tells me she loves me more than I think I've ever heard her say that ever in life.
She's 12.
So the pandemic made me closer to my family and just have a better sense of community in general. Because like then, and then I got that self-care thing too, like with the walking and everything. That's a form of relaxation for me. I'll either listen to an audiobook or something positive, or sometimes I don't listen to anything. I just, just things like that since the pandemic came about, and then also getting to know your neighbors. Like some of these people, I mean, they see me all the time because I'm outside walking every day.
Yeah.
So I've seen people at the gas station are like, "Oh, I've seen you walking. You know, I'll be seeing you walking." You know, you don't think people really see you. Oh no, they see you, but you don't think see you. So then I get to know my neighbors on both sides. I already knew on one side, but the other side, I had a whole conversation with him. Neighbors down the street. I mean, so just the sense of community has been a lot stronger. And then one of my cousins, her daughter wanted to do a march, or what is it called? A protest. So she led a protest.
Oh, that is.
So I was able, like, my daughter came, our whole family was there. It was just the sense of the community. I just to see that was just awesome to me. You know what I mean? Like, I hadn't seen anything like it. I'm like, this many different color people in the same place at the same time on this one accord for the same reason. That's amazing in itself. You know what I mean? It was a lot of people. I didn't think it was like, we thought it was gonna be like 30 people.
Right.
Oh, it was like a lot of people.
I love it.
But probably like a couple hundred people.
Wow.
So it was a lot of people. Yeah. So I mean, just the sense of community for me was what did it for me. But I mean, I had went through my moments, which I think when the pandemic first hit, everybody had that moment where you just either cried or, you know, like whatever. I did too.
Right, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it definitely did do that. I'll be at the post office trying to drop off my packages, everybody with the mask, or, you know, have these dots, lines on the floor and all this. And I just had a moment.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so, but yeah, so I mean, I think though that it does help you, like, or it did help me anyways, to love on myself a little bit more, and, you know, love my daughter, family, because you can't go out, you can't go on vacation, you can't be entertained all the time.
Right.
You have to spend more time with yourself, and then not to even mention the spiritual portion, which I'm okay. I understand everybody has their own spiritual thing, but for me, I have a stronger, sense of spirituality as well since the pandemic, because you get to spend more time with yourself. I incorporate it every day. So,
Yeah, well, and everything starts within you anyway, like, because you can learn, you can learn the Bible and you can go to church and all that, but it's all about what you believe. It's about self-growth anyway. So I think I agree with Brittany, like 100%, because I was in my house for a whole month. Like, I didn't go out because I'd gotten sick and my doctors didn't know for sure if I had the virus or not. I got like real sick. They told me to stay home because that was the best place for me. And my fever never reached to a level where they would admit me. They were like, it was safer. So for like 3 weeks, I was like, out of it. I would probably post a picture or something like that and never even really mention it too much, because as soon as I mentioned I had, like, I just got an inhaler, and that was the start of it. My doctor prescribed me an inhaler, and that was the start of it. And when I mentioned that, my gosh, I was like, okay, I'm not even going to mention that I'm like totally sick, because it gets crazy. And so that made me like really appreciate it. So I stayed in the house for a month, and I was like, Brittany, when I went out, because Thomas was he was our point person. He did all our grocery shopping and all that. Now I switched to Instacart, but it was lines. I went into the store my first time, and I was scared as can be because I didn't know what to expect. It was just so crazy, and I just feel like we're aliens, you know. I feel like it's such a weird kind of thing going on that I can't even I can't even describe it. We all probably have our own thing, but it was just like, wow. So I'm going to ask these last, Nikki, Glow Girl Glow, follow her. She's always asking me questions. She always keeps the conversation going. So I'm going to ask everybody these 2 questions, and then we'll wrap it up. They're reselling questions. I know Addie was saying earlier about what works for her. So if the question is about like what advice, just talk about what works for you. Okay, because she says, what advice can you ladies give a new reseller and to the person that is interested in reselling? And so let's start with Addie.
Okay, so I'll say just go for it, right? You don't have to go to a store to get anything. Just check your closet, check your kitchen, check your storage. You definitely have something in there you haven't touched for months, and you probably don't need it. So just take a picture with your smartphone. Don't worry about filters. Just make sure it's daylight, and any platform of your choice, just list it away.
Nice.
That's what I'm going to tell you. Just list it, and the bare description you can put it, just Start from there.
Yeah.
And before you know it, you slowly get better with your pictures, then you start worrying about filters and, you know,
Yeah.
appointments and all that. So just go for it.
Good stuff. Stephanie. Same question, Stephanie. Oh, you had no.
It's trial and error. I think it's a lot of just trial and error because I spend a lot of time. For a while, I was doing like what sold, watching those videos. You can go down a rabbit hole with those that I don't necessarily think is always that healthy.
Right.
Because if you live in the middle of nowhere, USA, you're not getting the same stuff that I'm getting in LA.
Yes.
Yes. So it's a lot of trial and error. And I think that, so what I did was cut that down to like one video, maybe while I was getting dressed and listening and not watching, because I felt like hearing the names over again, Cezanne, Love Shack Fancy, you know, whatever that I wasn't used to. Because I know, we all know the Tory Burches, the Dior's, the Gucci's, that's from a side, but there's these niches, especially that these Instagram bloggers love, right? And there's money, right? Like a bunch of styles. She's amazing at her niche, you know. Watch her, you know, pick somebody who you see their niche and watch them, but also just do you. I would go out to Goodwill on Dollar Day, and what was fascinating about that, I listened to somebody be like, I don't mess with the dollar clothes, blah 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 blah. I took that information in, and then one day I was like, but why? Why am I listening to that?
Right.
So I went and got the dollar clothes and I sold them. Stuff that was like $1, I'm selling for $20. That's 20 times
That's
my
profit.
profit.
Yeah.
Like,
That's
hello.
Profit.
So you listen to that advice, but take it with a grain of salt, because every community is different. Because there are so many resellers that are going to tell you what to trash.
Yeah.
And I learned trash is treasure, because that reseller gave me what she thought was trash this COVID season. And I sold that stuff that I didn't want to sell Hollister. I didn't want to sell American Eagle, but I learned that it sells. And so it's, do you want to make a bank account or do you want to be bougie? So, and in the meantime, something's got to be supplementing in between. Because I'm like you, I'm not going out to the store.
Right.
I don't want to. It's uncomfortable. Skylar's everywhere. We're whining, we're crying, we need a snack. I'm losing my mind.
Yeah.
So you have to just figure out what works for you and just take it all with a grain of salt. Please don't let anybody tell you what's not going to work, because that's really not the greatest of advice, I think.
Yeah, I'm going to piggyback real quick off of like what Stephanie was saying. Like, I agree with her 100%. Like, my husband was a reseller. He sold on eBay, but more men's stuff. So what I did was I had to educate myself, especially after that first 1-star incident. I just started kind of watching like YouTube videos, and I really narrowed it down to just 2 people I would watch, because it was so much information everywhere. But it's like, what happens is, one of the things that Stephanie was saying, that a person won't go to Dollar Days. And my Goodwill, well, we have so much sourcing. I'm afraid to move. It's so beautiful here that when everything's open, it's great sourcing. It's dollar because they're trying to just get rid of it. You don't know if you're going to pull a Burberry shirt for $1. The people behind the thing, they were just told, pull this amount of stuff and put $1 on it. So if you're not looking at the dollar tags, you don't know what you're going to miss. I found some great vintage blazers and all kinds of stuff that I can make $200 or something for $1, because the people in the thrift store don't know the quality of it or the value of it. So you're right about that. And then also, we do want to pick quality over quantity, but there's quality in everything. You know, especially if you're a bin shopper, like that's our main place to shop. But we still have 8 other Goodwills local to us, and Plato's Closet is within a 5-minute car drive from us. So it's really all about you and what you get used to. And if it's not selling, then it's time to like revamp and, you know, liquidate or something. But then liquidate, I just did that. I liquidated my stuff that I no longer went, and I sent it all to Thread Up. And I sent them 15 boxes. They went through only 4 out of the 15, and I've sold 37 items. Okay, so there you go. Telling you. So Mia, what is your advice to a new reseller?
I would just say stay consistent, because the more consistent, the more you list, the more you sell. So, and then also, like it's been said 1,000,001 times, but don't compare yourself, because like I don't know how much work Leslie's doing or Stephanie's doing or anybody's doing. So it's easy for me to look at these people on Instagram and social medias and be like, oh my gosh, they're selling like 25 packages and I only sold one. But I mean, Stephanie probably put in a lot of work, and I was sitting on the couch, like not doing anything. So barely sharing my closet. So I mean, I can't compare myself to her because I don't know what she was doing.
Right.
So, consistency and don't compare yourself, and just research. Whenever you're in a thrift, like as you start reselling, you'll start being able to tell the different textures and qualities and all sorts of stuff. And sometimes I found so many brands that people are not like shouting out, that's not on their BOLO list, that people don't know, for like $3 because people don't know it. Right. And I've looked it up on eBay or Poshmark or wherever, and it turned out that item was worth 100 and up. So of course I got snatching it. So it's like, you just got to do your own research, be consistent, and don't worry about what the next person is. Support that next person. Give them a round of applause, but don't compare.
Yeah. And the good point of that, Mia, is Stephanie's one package could be a $500 sell. And the person with 20 and they only made $50 because they ran a 3 for whatever sell. And that's all Stephanie needed to pay those lights and stuff. She was like, hey, so that's also the key. I've made posts like that just to start conversation on Instagram where I need to do one. Just to start a dialogue for people to understand, like, you don't know. I mean, I've heard like chatter that some people just post with boxes just to make it beautiful, And if you ever look at me, my packages, I have a story behind everything because I want you to learn and see what I'm doing, But that's the key there. You never know what they sold in that package. So one package, to me, people will say you can't make any money online. I made a sale. That would be my story today. One sale is better than no sale. Hey, so Brittany, what have you been up to? What advice would you give a new reseller?
I would say I was going to piggyback off of what Mia said about the research. That is so important. And it's not just like when you're in the store, but when you're trying to figure out what you really want to do. That's why everybody, I think, has said something really important, because then you also want to know what it is. You got to figure out what do you really want to do. Do you want to be in clothing? Do you want to sell shoes? What do you want to sell? So to start, the good advice was just to start around your house and then start learning from your experiences, and then take that. And then you have to figure out, okay, now what do I want to work on? I bought too many flawed items. All right, do I want to even deal with a bunch of flaws, or do I want to start getting stuff that's not flawed? I started learning stuff like that myself after doing it. Some of it is just trial and error. You don't know until you get into some of it. You know what I mean? Like I sold cell phones in the beginning. I didn't know that, it's a lot of risk in selling cell phones, but I was very brave. That's all I can say. I was very brave. And I dealt with quite a bit with that. And you can get into some other like scam type stuff and all that kind of stuff. So you have to figure out what kind of stuff are you the most comfortable with selling. And then, so that's why I say do your own research, because what works for somebody else may not work for you. Like empty hanger, the kind of stuff, she could sell a shirt for $40. Yeah. I bought the same shirt. Yeah. That thing sitting in the closet. Okay. So I was like, okay, I gotta figure it out. Like what's gonna work best for me, and then what's available to you. You can do Google Trends. I put that on my page because I think Google Trends is great, because then you can see what are people searching for in my area. That way you can kind of figure out, okay, what is trending over here and what might be more available to you. Because where somebody else, a YouTuber that you're watching, they might have access to certain things that you don't. Yeah. So you got to kind of keep that in mind as well. So just as a newbie, just do your research. Whatever somebody tells you, don't always just take that at face value. And definitely when you're in the store, a really big one for me is not just look it up, but make sure you look at the solds. Yeah. And sometimes I'll go even further, look at Poshmark and be like, okay, how many people like this item? I don't see no solds, but how many people even like the item?
Yeah.
Because I'm just trying to figure out, is this going to be a win for me or not? Or, how well is this item going to sell?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, that's a good one. That's good stuff. Yeah, so let's empty hanger. Jenna, like if you go all the way back, because she was one of the Jenna and Nicole State were my two go-tos back in the day. I mean, I still love Nicole, and meeting her makes it extra special. But Jenna, like if you go all the way back to when she first started, you'll see that she had to like figure some stuff out. So that's what I tell people: always go to the beginning. If you want to know somebody's journey, it doesn't really matter for me. Like I'm not really like a big like seller. Because I don't really talk about my sales. I don't talk about money and stuff I make, but all the decisions in the business mind that I have around my business, I think is really important. I'm focused on that. But something else that what Brittany was saying was, really figure out where your niche is, what you want to sell. Last October, I had 1,200 items in my Poshmark closet. I have 300 items now. I've narrowed it down. I sell lingerie. I sell shoes. A couple things sprinkled in there, and I just started selling like some sunglasses and stuff. I can get rid of a bra and let it be a plus size bra. I got some wholesale boxes, and my husband brings me shoes. He has a shoe guy. It's nice to know people, and he'll come home with 40 pairs of shoes and say, pick what you want. So that's been my sourcing, but I've narrowed it down. People are like, why did you take all that stuff out there? Because I had too much inventory and I didn't want it. I'd rather have this kind of stuff now because I'm a handmade artist. That's my soul. I crocheted for years. And then to find that I can do something in my creative mind that allows me to go into my Zen space and whatever's going on in the world, man, I just pull out some dye or some bleach and I'm good to go. I don't know, like Stephanie could probably agree. It's like amazing that if you're creative, that it takes you to a whole nother place. And I try to tell the community that if you have something, you can make money. It doesn't even have to be reselling. Stop selling yourself on Poshmark. I mean, you can. I'm gonna leave y'all alone. But no, because I know, like, I was just on a chat with somebody from like a app. I'm going to be talking about that in a few weeks. And we were talking about, it's like new from the ground, and they've been doing some stuff. But she was just like amazed at all the stuff that I'm doing. But I said, I teach everything. If I learn something, I'm teaching it to you. And when I say to you, if you're making handmade stuff, learn the value. If you're doing that with reselling and you're sitting and checking comps and stuff, right? You're in the store and you're checking comps. And you know if you can get the best money for, like Stephanie was saying, you're going to get, if it says, look, it's $1 and I'm going to get 20 for it. Okay. But like, what is the back end? So on Poshmark, you made a $20 sale. They take 20% off of that. So with handmade, you've put your time in it. You've bought your bleach, you've bought your dye, your rubber bands or whatever. And now you're putting in the time, right? So you want to get your money back. Etsy's always going to be the game changer for me on that, And that's just because I did it for 8 years and I was more successful on Etsy than I ever been reselling, because now I know the algorithm and an SEO and all that other kind of stuff. So that's a beautiful thing. So I'm going to skip. I'm going to go to another question for Chris, and then we're going to wrap up because a couple people, see if I can get out of this question. But I'm going to highlight Quimby first. If you guys don't follow the Grateful Queen, it's Quimby. I get a lot of advice from her. So she says, this is such truth. She's talking about what Stephanie said, that mall brand stuff sell, even though I would love all designer inventory. It's the mall stuff that moves. Yes, she's Quimby's a therapist full-time, but she sells on eBay and Poshmark, but she sells more mall brands and stuff than anything else. So she's definitely truthful about that. Okay, last question. Okay, well, I'm going to just put this out there. It's not a question. I believe as women of color, we need a strong community to learn from each other, and most importantly, to know our basic rights. This will help us at work during any encounter. Yeah, well, with me, they beat and fired and locked me up. That's just kind of a lie. Seriously. Listen, let me tell you, people talk about how nice I am, but I'm like, this is Philly, 100% West Philly girl, born and raised. My fight lives down the street from Will Smith's high school. So I'm going to tell y'all, I worked at a job and I got a promotion and went to another school as a lunch lady, and they didn't know me. And come to find out, they were really gossipy. They were troublemakers and stuff. And my manager said something to one of my coworkers about me. And when I talk about I was going to choke her, I had to go in the bathroom and call Thomas. I told her though. As soon as she came in, I was like, wait a minute, let me tell you something. Don't be telling somebody else. She went right on the phone and called the person in charge. They had to come from the office because I was in the bathroom. I said, I'm gonna hurt this lady. And I told her, and so the administrator came in, and even the lady who was hosting, who had the meeting, because they tried to turn it into something else. I knew nothing. I'm like, wait a minute, y'all done turned this. No, she done told somebody I said something about them. So all y'all can go all around or whatever. So when the meeting was over, I said, I'm done with you, the person who held the meeting. I said, this was wrong. You don't even know what you're doing. Left the meeting, went and called my director, the person who hired me. I had been at that job for 5 years, never had a problem. And that's why they told me you should go here because you can handle them. But I'm like, I want to come to work in peace, you know? So I told my manager, let me tell you something. If you ever, again, it's going to be me and you. I don't care if you've been here for 25 years. And I told my director, if I ever had this problem again, I'm going to your boss. I've never had this problem until I came here. You need to work it out, figure it out. Never had an issue again. Never had an issue again. I worked there for 2 more years. Never had an issue again. You know, don't put your hands on me. Don't call me out. Other than that, be good. Sorry. How to handle situation. I'll be locked up. Yeah, so this is really important. This is how we've all met. And I'm going to start with Chris. How do you use social media to market your business? You have a separate
me, I don't have a separate page. My Instagram, and first let me say this, just to kind of give you a little bit. Leslie, thanks for this whole platform here, because I started reselling like in 2006. I didn't even know that there was this many people of color that resold. I did not have Instagram. I may have had like Facebook or something. And yeah, I did have Facebook because I actually sold on a lot of the BST, pages, the buy, sell, trade stuff. And that's how I started reselling.
Yeah.
All this whole Instagram thing, this whole, like I say, this, since the quarantine and all this stuff, this is the first time that I've ever even seen this many resellers, black resellers to me, I mean,
I know
being honest, like I really
I can hold up to 500 people on my Zoom, girl.
I honestly did not know, and I'm, and I started following Leslie when I started getting more into Instagram. So I had just my personal Instagram, post little stuff here and there, mostly for family, stuff like that. But I had saw her, I think, like on the Explore page or something. I was like, oh, okay, another black reseller, very positive energy, so on and so forth. So I kind of started following her, kind of getting involved, with some of the stuff that, that she does. And so it just opened up so many other things, because there wasn't a lot of black resellers that I knew. My family are not resellers. When I find joy that I found this Burberry dress that I paid $6 for, and it has the tags attached to it, and I know it's worth it. I'm like, hey, I'm winning here. My family doesn't see that. My friends don't see that, because a lot of my friends are like, I'm not wearing secondhand clothes.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, this is a whole nother world.
Tags on it, sis. What?
Right. Yeah, right. So for me, with the whole social media thing, when I started getting into it, and like I said, I met Leslie and she talked about the community, and it was just nice to talk to people that we had the same interest, And so so basically with my social media page, I took it, I said, well, should I make it something different? Because again, you hear people say, oh, well, you should have a separate, business page. You should have a separate, and I say, do whatever works for you. Yeah. But for me, I don't just talk about reselling. And I know there are certain people that is their page, is strictly their page, and that's fine. If that works for them, that's fine. But for me, I want you to know me as a person. I like to be a little bit more on a personal level. Not saying I want to know all your business, but just a little bit more personal. We don't just have to talk about selling clothes all the time. We can talk about, what you use in your hair, or where you take your family on vacation, things like that. So I chose to open up my page to my business, and there's certain things that I probably necessarily wouldn't put on there, because you do have all these crazy people, but I do share a lot on there. I've learned recently to share more on my page, and I've started talking more on my page and kind of putting, different things out there, but it took me a while to do that. Yeah. Man, when I had the time, I haven't really had the time lately, but I would post, when I was sourcing, okay, I got these new items, just to kind of put it out there. Some people might DM you and say, hey, I would like to buy this, or, and so before it even reaches the Poshmark or the eBays or the Mercaris, you've already sold it. But really, I guess for me, it's more like just having, it's not so much about the business for me. It's just about being able to have the friendships for me. Honestly, I mean, I know a lot of people do use their social media for their business, and like I said, do what works for you. But
Yeah.
for me, when it comes to social media, I like having the friendships. I like seeing what other people are doing. I like trying to help other people. So it's not so much as I have my my Instagram because I'm trying to sell, stuff
Right.
or what have you.
Right.
When I get in the mood, okay, I might throw something up there. I got these new dresses, or I got this new this or new that. But a lot of times I don't even do it because I'm trying to now. My phone has become where I go to show a picture of my granddaughter and I don't have nothing but clothes in there.
You
So
know,
I'm like,
I
I'm
know, I
trying.
know.
So you know what I mean?
I
So I'm
told
trying to
you, yeah.
list now and then delete. You know
I
what I mean?
know,
So a
I
lot of
know.
times that's
Yeah.
that. But Instagram is more of like the outlet, I guess, for me. But I will say this though: don't let it control you,
Yeah.
because there are times where I come home and I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna do nothing. I'm just gonna check my page real quick. And I go from so and so to so
Yeah.
and so to so and so. And before you know it, I didn't lay in my bed for
Yeah.
5 hours and I have been on nothing but freaking Instagram.
Yeah.
So just, let it work for you and learn from it and educate yourself and learn from, but just don't let it control you.
Yeah.
But, so
Yeah.
that's me. That's
So,
what I do with my Instagram.
right. So the piggyback off of Stephanie. So what I do, like I have my personal page is Facebook. That's the only personal I have. And I don't share business stuff unless I'm speaking somewhere or whatever, but I don't sell. Like I see people selling and talking all about that. My people don't want to hear all that. My family
Yeah. Yeah.
in Ghana, whatever, don't want to hear all. They just want to see I post about my babies and graduating and stuff because then they can see. But so on my Instagram, the way I work Instagram is strategically on purpose to build my business. So everything that you see, even with me being personal, that is me opening up and being transparent to the community, right? But then people want to see kind of what you're doing. Like when I first started in 2018, I was just putting, oh, this is what I sold on Depop or whatever and was for sale. But now, and then I just figured out, you know what? Let me just be me. And that's, if you've done that, like how Brittany was saying, how she did the pizza challenge, it opens up and it brings some different people. Like they get to see you're brave, you're doing videos, you're doing stories, you're introducing yourself, you're sharing people's content, you're doing shout outs. That's what I do every day. That's business for me. That's purpose. That's a strategic plan that I have to grow. I am totally surprised that I've grown to the point that I have. It blows my mind every day because I'm just being me. I like to start conversations. I like to support people. I like to talk about what I'm doing. I like to teach. There are moments when people are like, you're so brave. You're so whatever. I'm like, I'm not brave. I'm black. I'm bald. I don't wear makeup. This is who I am. You're not going to get anything else but this. So if that resonates with you, then that's what you're going to get. I'm 50. I'll be 51. I have alopecia. My hair will never grow back. So sis, what am I going to tell you? So this is just me. And when you see people, I love people who are just themselves, and I just say, come on over. Let's talk about it. Like that's how we met. Isn't it a beautiful thing? 2019, didn't know any of you. And we know each other. Now we're building a community. We're building relationships. We're building friendships. Other people are getting to know you. They're knowing a little bit about you. And so that's a good place for me to just kind of like end. I want everybody real quick to go around and just say something quick to the community. I'm gonna start off with Mia, and just give a positive word. Mia.
I just wanted to say thank you so much for everybody that watched this. Thank you so much, ladies, for allowing me to connect with you and get to know each other. I wish you guys nothing but the best in the future, and I'll be looking forward to talking to you guys on Instagram. If anybody needs to find me, they can find me at mgoldgirl.
Nice. Chris.
Same thing. I had a great time tonight. It was good to meet you ladies. All of you, your spirits it spoke to me. So I hope in the future that we continue to connect and, see you guys on Instagram and I'm always here. I love to chat. Anybody have any questions, whatever, I'm here. And hopefully, your inboxes are open as well. And I just hope that as a community that all of us can just continue to be, just be kind to one another. There's enough out here for everybody to get out here and make money and, do the stuff that we love and just continue to be kind to everybody.
Beautiful, Stephanie. Somebody's ringing.
So, she's around Stephanie.
I think she's on mute. You're on mute, Stephanie.
Oh, there you go. Okay, I'm back.
Mm-hmm.
I want to thank you first, Leslie, because I saw you on Courtney on Posh's thing, and she can tell you, I instantly was like, oh my gosh, a Black person? Because I've seen other ones, but their platforms are so big, I didn't feel connected to them. And I was like, I'm just so glad to see a Black person, because the people that I was following, it was a monolith. I must be honest. It was almost like a monolith of one kind of person, one size, same clothes, same hair, everything. And I was like, ugh, this is not resonating. So you're the first person to even ask me to speak on my business. So I thank you for that. And I'm thankful to connect with the rest of you. I'm thankful to see brown people, and I'm thankful for if you guys saw me, there are people blowing up my Instagram right now. So whoever you are out there, I thank you for that. I'm like, what's happening? So I thank you all for that. And this is very exciting. So I hope to stay connected with all of you, those that I see, that we can all continue to advance the conversation. Because quickly, I believe that every lane needs to be occupied if we're going to fight this beast. So if that means golfing is your lane, you can speak on racism there, and we can do this here in reselling. And as I encourage other resellers, it's not one or the other. You can post your clothes and then say like, arrest the murders of Breonna Taylor, right? We can do that at the same time. We need to feel empowered to do that at the same time, because if we want the world we want, it can't be only business, right? So I'm just really grateful.
You can't hide from me now.
Definitely, it's been great connecting with all of you. And thank you, Leslie, as well, for reaching out to me. This is my first YouTube Live, first invitation as well. So thank you for the platform. And definitely, I'm so glad to connect with all of you. Like Stephanie and everyone said earlier, you don't really see like big successful Black sellers, right? So it's also encouraging and empowering to know that you all are out there. And I'll definitely be connected. And Brittany, we have to set up a date, okay? Because you're really close to me. You're not far away. So definitely, I'm open. That's my IG handle, Addis Boutique. Very friendly. So feel free to drop by anytime, and let's support each other.
Nice.
So thank you,
Brittany.
First, I just wanted to say thank you for inviting me as well, since this is my first time to get to talk about what I do. Like you were just saying a few moments ago, the family be like, they have to hear about not all the time. They only gonna want to hear so much of what you have to say. So for me, it's nice to do stuff like this, because I get an opportunity to talk about, some of the things that I do, and then also the other part of who I am. Like Chris was saying, she doesn't really necessarily want to use her page just for networking. I'm the same way. I like to let people in on who I am a little bit as well. I may not do it as much in my posts. I do it more in my stories, but I like to do both, because I'm just all around the board a community type person. And if you need help with something, or one of us, like, that's why the shirt says empower women, because if somebody needs some help or needs something, or they're down, you should be there to help them and help them get back up. And then hopefully whenever that time comes for you, hey, we all don't have good days. It's going to come. If you're a reseller, that day is going to come with something, you had a return or whatever happened. You had 2 returns back to back, and it's just, you can't find the item, whatever it is. I just, I think we should be there for each other and lift one another up. So I will definitely reach out. Is it Addie? I will definitely reach out. No doubt. And to everybody else as well. Like, I hope that we all see each other on Instagram, and maybe we can even do a live or something.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, we're gonna have to do something. So what I yes, because this is my third Brown Girl chat. You should go back. I've been doing this. I do one a month, and so next week it'll be the Spanish ladies. But that's the reason why I do this. I am not the average reseller. I want to bring conversation. I want to bring content. I want everyone to be exposed to each other in the community. And so I walked away from YouTube for a little bit because I wasn't getting out. You know what I'm saying? Like I wasn't doing hauls. I wasn't doing the typical thing. So I moved everything over to IG and started doing IGTV videos. I have 154. That totally surprised me the other day when I found that out.
Wow.
But that's where I knew there were people. And I tell people to start there because they get so intimidated about YouTube. I had about 30 YouTube videos when I decided to switch over. But at the time, I had between 500 and 700 community members. So I was like, at least 20 people will probably see my videos. Whereas here, YouTube, you're starting from scratch. You don't know if anybody's going to follow or subscribe or whatever. You don't know. It's too much competition. But as soon as the pandemic hit, that's when I came back because people were ready to learn then. They were ready to learn. They were ready to hear different things. So I said, how can I make it different? And that's what it's about for me. People say that I'm famous. I don't consider myself to be famous. I'm Leslie. When you think about me, just think about me being your best friend. If you ever need anything, if I can supply it for you, whether it just be a number, some knowledge, or whatever, I'm here. I am humbled every day, really, by this community. I really am. And the reason that I found you is because I'm searching. See, you ladies didn't know that we were here, but I'm searching every day because I want to see who's here. And that's what it's about for me. And that's what this is all about. And this is what creating exposure for you now. Stephanie's blowing up. Brittany's blowing up. Addie's blowing up. Chris is blowing up. You're going to turn around and tomorrow you're going to have new followers and things like that. That's because this community needs you. You need them. We need each other. And I appreciate each and every one of you. This has been such an awesome moment that we've been in, such a great conversation, and I'm hoping that we can continue getting to know each other a little more as time goes on. We can do some Zooms or whatever. My friend Chi and I met her at Posh Fest. Now we're linking up and doing Excel workshops and doing some different things. So we need to support each other, not bring each other down. We need to lift each other up. It's enough. It's enough for everyone. What Stephanie's doing doesn't affect what I'm doing. I'm going to shout out for her. I'm going to support the podcast and all that good stuff. And that's what we really need to do. We need to see that. And that's another reason why you probably don't see it as much, because there's so much competition, but there shouldn't be. Like Addie said, she said exactly what I always say. I'm my competition. When I look in the mirror every day, I'm like, girl, you got this. You got to do it. You had a bad day. Go to sleep, get your bed up tomorrow and start all over again.
Yeah.
That's really what it's about. Packages don't bother me, because if you're not paying my bills, your hustle don't bother me. I got to figure out how to pay my bills. That's the reality of it all. So ladies, I appreciate each and every one of you. The melanin, the beauty, I'm telling you, I've been humbled that you took time out of your day to spend it with me. Has been such an incredible experience. Everybody in the chat, thank you so much. I'm sorry I didn't get a chance to talk with you today, but I thank everyone. My moderator, Lizette, always coming in and making sure no one's being mean. So real quick, Lizette is having a giveaway. She reached 5,000 followers and we want to support her. So she's Posh is My Purpose she's New England Betty Boop here, but Posh is My Purpose. She is definitely a person. If you don't know Lizette, you definitely want to get to know Lizette, another person of color, and she and her husband Andrew are an awesome couple. So ladies, thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your week. Definitely, again, Chris knows if you need anything, whether it be an ear, whether you need to find out somebody, whatever, a resource, I got you.
Yep,
I got
you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Bye.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Bye.